excited to chat and to
Lovely.
introduce you to the community. You know, just your overall profile really resonates with me, and your focus on womb healing, which we'll get into, I think is, you know, a fascinating modality and one that has such incredible potential to heal at the root level of traumas that we deal with, experience, and are trying to process. So lots to get into today, but maybe just to begin, I'd love to start with you and hearing a bit about your story and anything you could share with us about your awakening journey thus far.
Okay, gosh, well, it's certainly been a long one.
Yeah.
Very turbulent, I think everybody's is. But the nice thing is I've always been able to meet up with like-minded people and get support along the way, which is the main thing, because if not, I think it's so easy just to fall off the path, isn't it? My sort of awakening, I suppose, or my healing journey started many years ago. I'd gone through quite a horrific childhood trauma that really made me disassociate. I think that's how I felt, disassociated with the world. You know, I really didn't feel that I fitted in. I didn't feel good within myself, so it didn't really matter what was going on the outside. You know, even though I had a happy outward life, inside, you know, I was really in a lot of pain, and the trauma also then led me to make such bad decisions and to continually go on a very negative cycle of harming myself with bad habits, bad decisions, and just having very negative experiences. And I felt, you know, with the trauma that I'd gone through, it marked my whole life, which is what I really want to help other people through, so that although we experience some horrific experiences in life, that we can get back on track and sort of turn them around and use them to learn. But you know, it took me a long time, because I think, you know, you suffer the trauma and then you make negative decisions. You feel worse about yourself, so you make worse decisions. You have a lack of boundaries and you feel more and more disconnected. So it's a really downward spiral. And I was lucky that at some stage during my sort of late teens, early 20s, that I came across a medium. And, you know, we sat talking about lots of different things, and she gave me some tarot cards, as well as we spoke a lot about the afterlife and about spirituality and this connection. And when I started using my tarot cards, I started feeling that I had a direction, because also you sort of lose yourself when you've had childhood trauma. You don't really know who you are. You haven't got the boundaries. So it's very difficult to make decisions, and it's difficult because you sort of go into different people pleasing or pretending to be different people depending on the crowd. So it's actually really hard to know who you are, what you want, and what the right decisions are for you. So I really got into my cards because it was a way that I connected with me. I would slow down enough to connect with me and connect with my higher self. And that was sort of the first step in understanding and knowing that we're not alone. There is an outside force, you know, spirit is around us, and there's so much more to life than what we are living. So I was, you know, eternally grateful for this woman. And then I just started continuing my journey. You know, I learned different massage techniques, which led me to Reiki. And I think that was sort of like a real turning point in my life, because I started then working a lot with Reiki to heal others, but obviously the first year or so I was just healing myself. I was just coming back to finding out who I was. And you know, I felt with Reiki I was able to clean a lot of the debris I'd picked up in my life. And I continued working with different healing modalities for a long time. But it was later on when I don't know, when I went through childbirth, when I had children, that I really started to look at how my energy was then affecting my children. And that was quite a wake-up call. So another one. So I started looking, or I don't know, it just sort of came that this is the work that I should be doing, because although I'd worked with energy healing on my out, and I know we're always forever cleaning out our chakras, aligning and cleaning our outward energy, but this was something really internal and really, really deep. So it really, I don't know, it just, you know, when something just calls you and you think, oh my God, this is it.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Wow. So that's kind of where I'd say it seems like in your journey, at the point of which when you brought children into this world, that you really saw the potential and value of womb healing as a modality in particular, right? I'd imagine, and I can see how I want to let you speak to this. So maybe perhaps that is that true? Like where you kind of came into in conjunction with Reiki and bringing
Yeah,
womb healing
because
into it.
what happened, I've got so many different points, because there were so many different sort of aha moments when I started going into the womb healing. One of the biggest things is that, you know, because of bad decision making and low self-esteem and you know, distractions, and also, you know, being intimate with the wrong sort of people, so you have your sort of energy, and when we're weak or when we're not vibing a good high vibe, we can obviously make these negative choices. Doesn't mean to say they're bad people, but they've got their own traumas. So you're sort of finding other people that have um, a challenging history. And so when you're intimate with someone, you're also taking on their energy. So you not only, you know, get close to them, but they can also, the energy sort of you know, you interact with their energy, but their energy also penetrates you. So that exchange of fluids is in your energy. So what was a real wake-up call for me, I keep using that word, but it's like, oh my God, because then I realized that I was attracting the same sort of people. Even though I'd worked on my outside energy, you know, I was still attracting a negative, a partnership that had negative connotations. So that was really interesting, to use the womb healing to clear that energy out, to cut the sort of energetic cords, but to go even deeper in that, to really sort of push that person's energy out. So that was really interested in that. Then when I was working on different things, I began to see that I was also bringing down things from my mother's lineage and my father's lineage, which sometimes can be really great because they brought me many gifts, but they also had their own wounds, because obviously our parents and our grandparents, they didn't have the tools that we have these days to start healing our wounds. Nobody spoke. I mean, even through my childhood trauma, it was a secret. Nobody really spoke about things. You know, I know people even to this day don't speak about a lot of things, but we are all starting to find our voice. But when we can skip back a couple of generations, and our forefathers went through wars, through slavery, they went through, you know, a poverty, extreme poverty, all these different things, and lots of sexual abuse or rapes, but nobody really spoke about it, because back in the day, you just had to get on and live, you know, or not, but you'd suffer in silence.
Yeah.
So I do feel that now we are the generation that can help heal those wounds and bring the gifts through. You know, also I work with a lot of psychic people, especially with the tarot cards, and I know a lot of people go back to, you know, if you had a lot of intuition, or you're really, you know, close to working with plants or whatever it is, we were all sort of closed down years ago because, you know, you're deemed as a witch if you do anything like healing or plant medicine, hypnotherapy, you know.
Yeah.
we'd all be burned at the stake now.
I know. That's what I was thinking about when you were talking. I was like, it wasn't too long ago that if you mentioned that you had, you know, you were feeling down, that you'd be essentially burned on the stake because some demon had taken you over.
For
Um,
sure.
so, you know, we've come a long way. That's a good, you know,
We
thing.
have come a really long way, and it's great. I mean, I live in Spain, and I'm English, and now we have Reiki in the hospitals, which is fantastic. You know, acupuncture is now used as medicine, or medicine. It's now used within the National Health Services, so it is really good. But it's still not enough. You know, which is why I love your movement, because it's like we're trying to push things up so people become really aware, and that people start using them. I mean, for me, I just wish everybody would do this. I mean, we should learn it, meditation, energy healing, even tarot in schools, so we know how to deal with life. And that because life is challenging and there is trauma, but at least we don't allow, or what I don't want to allow is that trauma ruins your life. You know, there's ways of helping ourselves and others. So, you know, that's the big reason for it. And also when we start looking at what happened in your life, if we start analyzing things, we can often trace it back to, you know, addictive personality, alcoholism, and then you look down the family lineage and you think, oh my god, my father was an alcoholic, or my dad will be watching this saying I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't mean literally. We can trace different things down our family lineage, and we realize we're following a pattern. And that can be because we're born with that energy. You know, even when we're in our mother's womb, you know, we're experiencing everything she's going through. So if your mum had a pregnancy when she was absolutely happy and everything was hunky-dory, then that's fine. But a lot of pregnancy experiences aren't like that. Women gave birth in really bad circumstances. They may have an abusive partner. They may, you know, be, just going through a lot of stress, or it was, there's so many different scenarios. And if your mum's not in the perfect balanced energy, you're picking up a lot of that. And so when you come out the womb, you not only are born with your ancestral lineage that influences you, you're also born with any energy your mother was experiencing, and perhaps even your father, you know, if they're in the house, especially if they're being aggressive or abusive or, you know, negative in any way, we're experiencing that in the womb. So we're born with quite a lot of junk already.
Yeah, and this is why, Selena, I'm so fascinated by this modality in particular, because it really does allow us to trace back our ego blocks, what I would call them, you know, that those trapped energies that we've inherited. And in many ways, that's the missing consideration in today's conversations on health and wellness. We look at genetic inheritance, right, the biological inheritance, but we completely tend to pass over energetic inheritance, which is what we're dealing with here. You know, and of course, it's the energetic inheritance that is what drives your ultimate genetic biological inheritance, right? So it's so important to start with energy first.
Yeah, for sure. As you know, when I was, talking to my daughter when she got to be about 17, I think it was, and I was watching her behavior and just listening to her reactions to just everyday situations and things that happen as you're getting older. I thought, oh my God, she's the same as me. Even though she hadn't been through that trauma that marred my way of being, she was acting like I did. So she was acting as if she had experienced that, because she had picked up all of my energy. It influenced her so much. And it's so wonderful to see now. She's, I've done a lot of womb healing. So as you're going through doing a womb healing, you sort of go into a journey into the womb. And then I use Reiki symbols, and obviously Reiki healing anyway, it goes into the present, but it travels back into the past and into the future. So with the intention of doing womb healing, you're moving the energy and healing the wounds. And it was so beautiful to start seeing how this energy, how this healing was changing my daughter. So even though I knew it was helping me, and I'm, intending to send it back through to to my ancestors, I could actually see my daughter changing her life. So it was pretty magical to see.
Wow, yeah, that's incredible, and it really is in many ways. It's the foundation of conscious parenting, this
Yes.
modality that is arising and becoming very well known in the
Mm-hmm.
new age, and I see conscious parenting as the vehicle in which we bring enlightenment into the modern household,
Yes.
which would be an amazing experience to witness at a global scale uh, when it happens. And very tangentially tied, right, to womb healing in that context, because that really is the basis of conscious parenting, understanding those dynamics, energy dynamics. So can you talk to us a bit more, and you kind of just started to get into it, but I'd love for us to spend a few more minutes on what a session with you is like with womb healing. You kind of talked to us about the journey, right, that you take us on, but can you just kind of elaborate on that, start to finish process of a client session?
Okay. Well,
With a
I
client?
either work on a one-to-one basis with people. If not, I do work in groups, and I tend to harness the energy of the moon as well, as well, because it's been a very feminine energy, and a lot of the energy I'll be working with is with the Divine Mother. But because I've mentioned femininity 3 times, for any men that are watching or will watch this, men also do have a womb chakra, or, it can be known as the secret womb. And regardless of whether, energetically there's a womb or not, we're also working with the space like the sacral chakra energy. So although we talk a lot about the womb as like it's its only woman, it isn't. It is for both sex, because either men have been a woman in a past life, so you still have that energetic sort of blueprint there, or if not, we still have this space. And I know there's lots of stories of men going through the pregnancy or the birth with their partner, even though they haven't got a womb. So this is the sort of area we're working with. So that's just in case any men are put off of, I suppose we should call it ancestral healing, but it's sort of coined the
Yeah.
phrase
Well,
womb healing.
men and women alike, we've all been in a womb, right? Coming into
Yeah,
the
for sure.
incarnation. So it's relevant no matter what gender you ascribe to, identify with. It's universal that we have this rite of passage, quite literally, to come into this world. Um,
So I tend to work with the moon because the energy is so high. I just love working with moon energy. So then within the group session, I just explain a little bit about what womb healing is, so everybody knows what we're doing, and we speak through it, because it's also really good for grief, because again, you're on that ancestral lineage. So it helps with the wounds of loss, especially child loss, very close family loss. So it helps with this. So we go through a lot of the reasons about why we do this. And then once everybody's asked their questions or have, expressed something that perhaps they want to share within the group, we then go into a journey through the womb. So everybody can switch their cameras off if we're doing it online, and they just relax and are led on a journey. Now, what we do is we also, as well as healing the parents' lineage, because all of this obviously doesn't happen in one session. This is why I do it monthly in a group, because it's something you have to continue with. You can't go in like with a magic wand and say, okay, that's 7 generations of the father's energy field. So it is a monthly journey, or this is how I work it in a group every month. And, we go in, and it's almost because we're working with this intention of healing, and we go into the maternal lineage, perhaps something will come up, as the healing sent down, sort of the time travel. As it's sent down, something will be healed. Sometimes you'll know what's been healed. Sometimes you'll just notice because your energy changes. But we work on that. We also go through, because of many people that come have experienced sexual trauma, abusive behavior as a child. So then we go within the womb journey back to that particular incident. So we're guided back into perhaps a negative sexual trauma that happened that triggered some self-harming or sexual issues. And we go back there, and with the symbols that I use, we help to start to heal, because most of the time people that go through sexual trauma, we just push it down. Didn't happen. I've just got to get on with life, or whatever, the situation is. So this helps bring it up. But we don't go back and relive the trauma. We just go back to start the healing. So you don't have to be listening word to word and reliving throughout the journey. We're just going in, and, we go through the different healing. Then on the same journey, so we go through the parental lineage, the sexual trauma, we can go into grief and loss, and then we go into some other different things. Some people come because of fertility imbalances, the menopause, painful menstruations. It just depends on the group, really. But if not, we go through all these different facets of healing, and then we connect very deep with the Divine Mother energy, so she can help take the energy away and down for like transformation. And then we go into a little bit of like realignment. And it takes about I think we journey for about an hour, so it's very deep. So people can feel quite affected, but it's also very effective. That's the word I was looking for. Because you're experiencing, sometimes you're given, because as I said, we're going to heal the wounds, but once we go into the family lineage to heal the wounds, we're opening the portal to get the gifts coming down as well. So there's a lot that's happening.
Yeah. So am I understanding correctly, Selena, that to lead us on this journey, it's positioned as a meditative type experience where, we turn off the cameras, we come into stillness, we let ourselves go on this inner journey in order to start accessing these previously or otherwise unaccessible states that are unobserved, right? That live in our bodies, keep this energy trapped. And so you take us on this almost shamanic type journey of these inner to access multi-dimensional realities, meaning different timelines, right? Timelines beyond this current life, and being able to then tap into the energy that we've carried over from other incarnations that we haven't yet been able to release. Is that fair?
That's it. Yes. Yeah. And it's incredible. It's fascinating. And as a facilitator for the circles, I mean, it has just been incredible. I think I've been doing them since I went online with COVID, with the healing circles. And since then, we have had so many amazing, I've got so many amazing stories of recovery, of, being able to, women that have found their voice, and are just completely different people now. And breaking chains, breaking patterns, breaking addictions, self-harm. It's just incredible. It's a very, very deep healing and a very powerful healing. It's I do say to some, it's not to be entered into light-hearted.
Sure.
It is deep, but it's incredible, because for me it gets to the root of our problems. Well, that was my experience. So although I went through years on my healing journey, I'm an acupuncturist. I did acupuncture, I did my Reiki, I did, oh my God, so many different things. But this is where I started living a completely different life, and life has become easy. Life is a joy, a bliss. I don't really get my bad days. I feel totally connected to life. As I said, I've seen it change my family lineage back and front, and it's changed my relationships with people. I mean, I get so enthused by it because it works, it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, I can feel your passion. I can feel that you're speaking from direct experience. And, that really is, for me, one of the most important things when I talk to potential providers and people that are looking, to potentially partner with for Awakenpedia is, do they practice what they preach? Do they walk the talk? Are they living it, right? And I know with you that everything is coming from direct experience, which makes it so powerful, and one of the most fundamentally pure ways to facilitate a healing modality. So I'm really excited to work with you in this space to help you expand your reach and practice, to further educate people on this modality, because I think that it's just not as frequently addressed and spoken to on the healing spectrum, and yet it seems to me to be one of the most quintessential modalities, given how close it comes to the true root of these issues. I mean, we can't really get closer to the root than coming and looking at, coming through the womb here and what we inherit energetically.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
the level of form, right? When we come into this earth in our form. So I'm really excited to work with you and to help you kind of just, bring this modality to the front stage and make it a more mainstream topic when we talk about healing.
Yeah, it would be amazing. I mean, I find it absolutely incredible. I've always known that we sort of time travel with our healing, but when we start going back through the ancestral lineage, we start thinking, oh my God, we're changing our karma as well, because we're going back and healing wounds, we're healing, we're changing the past in different ways, if that makes sense, because we're going back, changing the wounds, bringing healing to our ancestors. And yeah, I find it absolutely incredible. It's so empowering, because you actually feel so much freedom, and just so empowered.
Yeah, really. And it just makes so much intuitive sense to me, this modality. I'm feeling really grateful to have you as a partner, to be able to facilitate this space with us, and looking forward to seeing what's to come with it.
Me too.
Yeah. So Crystal had a comment here, if we want to look at it, Selena. And Crystal's a member, a beloved member of Awakenpedia. How do you, I just think it's interesting, look at menstrual cycles with womb healing, periods, that type of stuff. Do you go into hormonal balance at all in
We
context?
do. It's sort of actually something that seems to happen naturally. So it's not, I have people in circle that are going, they're perimenopausal, menopause. One lady who hadn't had a period for a long, long time, but she was very young. So, and a lot of the balancing that comes in seems to come in quite naturally when we're aligned. So if we've had a blockage in our womb, because we've had, some trauma, childhood trauma, sexual trauma, ancestral, it may be a pattern from the family. We may have, there's so much, isn't it? It's not just a medical condition of hormones, it's everything that's behind it. So what can naturally happen, because we're working on the womb, it's almost like the womb can be so tense because we've had to protect ourselves. We've had to hold all the emotional, the sacral chakra and the womb chakra. It's like this emotional cup. So we have to push a lot of stuff down there. And then with this, we've got the relaxation. So fertility can improve because we're more relaxed, we're more open. We're opening every time the gateway to creativity and infinite possibilities as we open up the place where women can create life and so many different things. So it's an amazing sort of change of energy. So periods can change. Your menstruation can then hook up with the moon. So you have the full moon, you have your period, or in the new moon. It depends. Everybody syncs up differently, but it can have a profound change because you're very much in alignment and the womb is changing. And I think the main thing is because what we go through, if you've had a lot of painful periods as well, your womb is in tension. And this can just clear as we align and love the womb. Again, so many women also have a terrible relationship with our bellies, where we have the womb and, tidily put away because our bellies are big, or our womb, gives us period pains or whatever it is, or we've got the period, which is a curse. That's what it was called, or it stops us doing things. So much behind it. And when we actually get into that Mother Earth, that big connection, we start opening up and loving and stepping into our bodies, and our body responds to that by being natural. So yeah, a lot of it can just sort of start lining up, if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah, it
I
really
do
does.
get a bit infused and go.
No, I love it. I love it. You speak so eloquently, Selena, and articulately about this topic, which could otherwise be so misconstrued and just lost and, kind of thrown to the wind as some woo-woo type practice that has no real basis in practicality. And yet the way that you're talking about it now, bringing it into the mainstream stage, shows how genuinely important it is as a healing modality to continue to emphasize in the new age. Because again, most simply, it is looking at things at the root, as close to the root that we can come. And the closer you can get to the root when it comes to energy work, the better, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, for sure.
So to wrap up here, last thing I'll ask you, I tend to ask every new partner this question, but is there any type of guidance, piece of wisdom or insight that you'd like to impart on those who are tuning in here, viewers, the community, about how you can start to kind of develop a more healthy, or even just any type of relationship with the womb, with womb healing as a modality, how you can start to kind of familiarize yourself with this modality, right? Is there any guidance that you would share in
I
that way?
think the easiest way is just sort of acknowledging that it's there, sort of perhaps during whatever healing modality you're doing, just bring your attention to your womb. Again, it's sort of a place that gets a lot of external damage, you know, because women weren't allowed to menstruate, or they bloat when they menstruate. So they're sort of, oh my God, my stomach, look at my cheeks on. So it's now sort of just to change that around, just to start loving, you know, this incredible energetic portal that we have. You know, it's our space of creativity. So it's just like loving yourself more and bringing your attention to yourself and just, you know, sending love to your womb space, male or female, you know, just sending love to that area, I feel, is the first step to take. It's just perhaps acknowledging how we talk to ourselves, talk to our bodies, or this particular part of our body. And, you know, if you're going deeper, just to start perhaps understanding the journey of our fathers as well, you know, our ancestors, you know, realizing that we don't have to take their trauma on, you know, we can start afresh here, you know, help send the energy back. But the main thing is we can start, you know, fresh. And so we don't have to allow trauma or you know, inherited energy to perhaps ruin our lives. You know, we can take control.
Mm-hmm. Such an important message, and so powerful, Selena. It really is, because so many people today continue to walk around this earth stuck in trauma, stuck with these energy traps that have, you know, that they were born into this life with, that they don't know how to let go of. They don't know how to process. They don't know where it's come from. They're trying every, you know, mainstream therapeutic technique on the books, traditionally speaking, you know, always treating symptoms, never actually looking at the root and creating sustainable change. So I just think this is really such an important message, and great advice as well about starting with just sending loving awareness down to the womb, the womb itself, bringing attention to it. It always starts and ends with attention. And if you can just bring some loving awareness, loving attention into that area, into the womb itself, as both the physical, literal area, but also just the metaphorical concept of the womb, right? And how, as the passageway to creation, as you call it, you know, I'd say the miracle box, the money maker, the miracle machine. I don't know. There's so many words.
So many words for it. The magical portal to all creation.
Really, actually, and so I'm excited to see where it goes from here, and with these conversations, this modality. Really looking forward to growing it with you, and for everyone who tuned in and will watch this later. You can find Selena's partner profile on her member form with her bio, direct booking links to all her different services and programs in context of womb healing and otherwise, discount links, and this video for those who didn't get to watch it fully. But anyway, Selena, this is just the beginning. Thank you so much for joining, for being a part of this with us, and we'll talk soon.
Lovely to be with you. I was going to say it's lovely to see you, but I can't see you. But it's been fantastic talking with you. Okay, many blessings.
Okay, talk soon.
Bye-bye.